Sorry about that. I didn't mean to click to the next one. But you maybe saw a snapshot of what's to come. I have a problem about ranting about cars. I enjoy cars. I'm one of those people that most cars on the road I can pick out just by seeing them from the distance. And at night, a lot of brands, I can tell by their headlights just what brand it is. I enjoy cars. I'm not a huge car enthusiast. I can't tell you details about horsepower and everything like that. But I enjoyed the fun of driving cars. I actually worked at a rally racing driving school called Rally Ready Driving School in Austin, Texas. Great time. If you ever want to learn it, I recommend them. 10 out of 10. Are there any other place? I haven't been to the other places, but they have a very unique driving experience. I don't know why I'm talking about them. They're great, but they're not paying me. I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. Great guys. Anyways, on to my rant, and that is with Ford. Because one of my favorite cars of all time is the Toyota 4Runner. And I love SUVs. I insisted when I was buying a car that we get an SUV so I could fit my bike in the back of it. And actually, when my parents bought my 2002 Ford Explorer Sport, I always got to care about the Sport. Not the track, not the truck, the Sport. They were on their way to go get a 4Runner. And they stopped and they saw this Explorer. And I love my Explorer. It's honestly a blessing because there's very few cars, even good cars, that last into the 220,000 miles range, and my car has been kicking, turns over every single time. It's honestly a true blessing. But there's one problem, and that is 4Runners. Japanese, they know how, especially Toyota. Japanese in general, they know how to design cars. Because Mazda's, get that at a later date. Beautiful design. But the Toyotas are very practical, and they're very intelligent. They're very smart in implementing smart choices. And one of these, I love it so much, is a back hatch window that goes into the door so that you can drive with it down. So, one, if you roll the windows down, but I love driving with windows down, you can open the back hatch and then all the air flows more easily towards the back. And two, you can run things out the back without having any part of the door open. Like I would probably break off my back window if I opened the back hatch window and ran something out of the back, because I'd have to strap it down. I'm sure you've seen people do it. It's ridiculous. Now you have to do it sometimes. Sometimes your situation, and you don't have a truck. But that's why you need a back window that goes into the door so you can run stuff out of it. I work on movies, and a project I worked on, No Man's Land. The DP, director of photography, Clint Howard, one of my best friends, hope you're watching, you better be watching, has a Toyota 4Runner, and we had dolly track, which is about 8 feet long, and we just ran it through the middle of his car. It stuck out like 3 feet out the back. But we just hauled it in there for 3 weeks straight, no problems. And any other, we actually didn't have a vehicle to do that in. We didn't have any access to a truck. We might have had access to one, but it wouldn't have worked very well. And then it would have been primarily out in the elements when that stuff you have to keep dry. I know it's just a piece of metal, but it can start rusting, and you're renting stuff, that's expensive if it has any damage. So, like, it's very practical. It's a cool design. Practical, cool design, very useful. And I thought forever that, or actually recently, I always wondered why other people didn't do this. And I thought maybe Toyota just has a very clever design patent on it, because design patents are very difficult to take down, because utility patents typically run out. I understand they do run out at 20 years. And then, in which case, everybody can have access to technology. And hopefully, in those 20 years, the company that patented it has solidified a foothold so they can survive and be the leader. That's kind of the idea. But everybody still gets the technology. So, but design patents, they're more centered to the company and latched on, so you can, because they're part of the image of the company, you can keep them going for years and years. And I thought, and maybe they do, but maybe Toyota does have a design patent, which would make sense. But what doesn't make any sense is I found out the other day that the Ford Bronco, I think the second or third gen, had a back window that slid into the door. Not only that, it was a tailgate. So you had a tailgate, and then it slid into the back door. Why isn't this a thing? This was like in the 90s on the Ford Bronco of all cars. My Explorer basically replaced that because it's a sport, so it's a two-door Explorer. Like, it's the continuation, if you want, I'm going to say, of the Bronco's character. It doesn't have the 4x4 and off-roading capabilities the same. It could be, but that's not marketed. Anyways, but it's the two-door SUV of Ford. Like, it makes sense for them to do it. And in '97, when my friend's back glass, the 1997 Toyota 4Runner that my friend has, his back glass slides down into the door. 5 years later, when Ford made my Explorer, they didn't think this was a good idea. I don't know why. And honestly, I pretty much, if anybody from Ford is here, I insist that you design one for my car just so I can buy it. I will pay a premium if it takes it. I will pay a premium and install it on the back of my car because that car is going to be with me for life. And I want it in there because I love that little girl. But I want to be able to haul stuff. I want to haul stuff instead of running a board all the way up to the armrest. But I don't have an armrest, so it is actually a pretty nice, handy bonus with having to run it inside my car. But it's only so big, right? But I think Ford might have been off their rocker this entire time because recently they did announce that they are axing all of their cars except for the Mustang and a new version of the Focus called the Focus Active. And I can see why, because we're going towards a, sadly, crossover route of buying cars. But, I mean, they're selling those cars in North America, or America, USA. Yay! And so they're going to sell some cars in other countries. But as far as America goes, because, to be honest, we love our gas guzzling vehicles, especially now that they get better gas mileage. But still, this wouldn't be a problem. One, granted, they didn't sell. Performance cars never sell like they should. But that's the problem. The problem with performance cars is, honestly, like, I love cars. I would love to buy a performance car. One, I can't afford it. But two, like, I love my Explorer, and if I bought a performance car, I would also love that, and I wouldn't be very likely to sell it. I kind of latch onto things, and I feel like car people in general, they latch onto their cars, and we don't burn through them. Like, this is actually a side note. This is a very good point. That's the reason why performance cars don't sell very well, unless you're just a consumer of newest. But I think for the most part, car people just love their cars. They buy a very specific one because they love them. I would buy a Bug-Eye. I think it's a 2004. The Bug-Eye version of Subaru Impreza WRX way before I bought the new ones, just because that's my favorite one. It's not the best one. It's not the one that Colin McRae raced, but I just like it. It just appeals to me. And I would buy that before the new one. So I can see why there's a problem selling performance cars. Which is why I was saying is that's why the Focus RS doesn't have very many sales, even though it's an amazing car. It's so good. I've never said one, but I know. I trust people, right? I read reviews. I read articles. Probably more articles than I should. But anyways, I'm getting off track. So they're making the Focus Active. They're going to sell that in America. There's also a rumor, and I hope that this is just going to be a subcategory, but there's a strong rumor that they're going to make a Mustang crossover, and even if they make a regular Mustang and the Mustang crossover, my line was, I have no more words, and I can't even continue, honestly. I wrote that as like just being ironic, but literally I have no words to talk about a Mustang crossover. I just can't.